Well, here's the papers. Oh, well, anyway, let's talk about this fossil. There is not an evolutionary mechanism that is conceivable that can deal with this. It gets better. Okay, let's look now at the genome from an analogy of a book. Okay, if the genome were a technical text, the first thing we'd have to admit is there's no known counterpart. In our technology we have in the year 2009, there's no known counterpart to the genome. All right? Now, we know our technology is not the result of random processes being naturally selected by, supposedly neutral nature. Okay? We know our technology is a result of millions and millions of man-hours and billions of dollars thrown in to try to create the technology we have. And it still cannot compete with the technology of the genome that supposedly arose by processes that are not directed by any kind of intelligence, any kind of designing oversight. Already that'll make man feel pretty stupid, that apparently natural nature processes out there can do a better job of technology than he can do. Okay? Second, one sentence in the genome has 100 related but different meanings, yet all are compatible within the whole textbook. Okay, think about that a second. We'll come back to that. Okay, the genome contains numerous cryptic writings that are decoded. In other words, you can't read them initially. You have to have decoders come in. It's like when you were the kid, you had the special little lens you put over, the special ink you worked with. Have to have decoders come in that help to decode the information. So in the genome, you have decoders and transposons and rearrangements in the epigenetic state. Epigenetics is a whole nother level that I don't even begin to have time to talk about tonight. We're just talking about the DNA level, not the epigenetic level. See, are you already saying, okay, my mind is already just exploding, and we haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. And that's why I say that if you're an evolutionist, it's time for you to bow down before a creator that you don't even begin to comprehend, that is doing things that is so beyond what humans ever dreamed of. 10 years ago, if I would have given this talk, I'd been laughed out of any room, because they would have said that, no, DNA does not work this way. DNA is not that way. That's not the way genetics works. And that's why 10 years ago, evolutionists were able to make what would now be judged as fairly ignorant comments about junk DNA and how junk DNA proves this and all the junk DNA in the human genome. It's because it wasn't junk, it was just presumptiveness on the part of humans. They thought they understood. We didn't understand. I've likened it to the world of genetics was like, for years we thought we had discovered the throne room of an ancient pharaoh in his tomb, and we were analyzing, looking at all the gold and thinking, wow, what a wonderful find. All the riches, all the jewels, all the gold, all the paintings. And then somebody noticed in the back, in the distance, seemed to be a little crack in the wall. And eventually, as people worked their way through all the logging, cataloging, and measuring, and they got to the little crack in the wall, they pushed on it and it opened up. And it went down a short hall, and they came into a room that they couldn't even see the top or the bottom or the side of. And it was full as they could see with gold, up and down and to the side. And they realized they were just in the small little antechamber. This is the riches. 10 years ago, we were in the antechamber and thought we knew it all genetically. We now are standing, looking in the room of the genetics that our Creator has made, and just standing in awe. Haven't even begun to understand all the amount of gold in there yet. Haven't even begun to understand it. We just are still standing in awe. That's why I praise God that I was able to be a geneticist at this time. For creationists, it's the most exciting time to be a geneticist, because we see a whole world open up to us that no one has ever seen before. And we quickly recognize this is the finger of God waiting to be shown to us. Previous generations of humans could never see this. God has been waiting until this generation to reveal this. And as a creation geneticist, we get to be among the first to see it. And it's so exciting to be able to then tell other Christians about this. This is the finger of God. Okay, let me show you. Let's take a book analogy a little further. Let's go with the book Pride and Prejudice. Actually, let's not. Mark Twain once said that any library, even if it doesn't have any other books, if it does not have Pride and Prejudice, it's a good library. So anyway, we will instead use War and Peace. Okay, if we have a 1,400-page volume of War and Peace, the human genome is, as an analogy, like having that War and Peace printed on 14 pages. And we're not talking about just making the print smaller. Okay. Printed on 14 pages, but it's the entire book. So each page is equivalent to 100 pages of the normally written book. But the way it's done is you read the normal left to right, top to bottom, then you turn it, you read it again, because remember that other strand now is information also, so you turn all the way over, read it again, left to right, top to bottom. Already, we say, wow, okay, there's no book in the world that could possibly do that, but we're not done. Okay? Then you fold it, and you read it again. And then you fold it, and you read it again, and you fold it, and you read it again. And we're not talking about 100 separate stories. We're talking about a continuation of one story. So page 1, top to bottom. Turn it, page 2, top to bottom. Fold it, page 3. Fold it, page 4. Fold it, page 5. Now, could you write that book? Is there anyone in the world that could write that book? Could you even read that book? But yet that book has been written. It's called the human genome. The human genome is beyond the capability of humans to comprehend, let alone to write. Now, who's being more scientific? When the creationist says the human genome is clearly a product of a superior